Basil here with another edition of the Great White North Report. And last Sunday I was watching the CFL Grey Cup game, the Canadian Football League championship game between the Hamilton Ticats and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And it was a pretty cool game. A lot of fans out there, which is good to see. This was played in Calgary's McMahon Stadium. And the weather at time of kickoff was -1 degree Celsius. Not sure what the Fahrenheit is on that. And by the end of the game, it was -3 Celsius. Calgary weather is unpredictable at this time of year, as it could be anywhere from -27 degrees Celsius to up to as high as 17 degrees Celsius. So they really get a huge difference in weather, and it can snow a lot too. So it's good to see the fans of Calgary come out and support this event, especially, and fans from Hamilton and Winnipeg came out. These teams had two of the longest droughts, championship droughts. Winnipeg hadn't won in 29 years. They've been to the final, but they hadn't won in that long. The last time was 1990. And Hamilton, their last win was back in 1999. This was more of a story about defense. Hamilton turned the ball over 5 times. Hamilton could just never really get anything going. Big story was Andrew Harris. He's a Canadian from Winnipeg. He was the CFL rushing leader. He had a huge day. He had a 1 rushing touchdown and 1 receiving touchdown. He had been suspended for 2 games this season because of a failed drug test. It happens every so often. Someone takes a drink of something that they don't really know what's in it, or something's prescribed that has something that they're not really aware of. It happens from time to time, but he took his 2-game suspension. It cost him the Most Valuable Player award in the CFL that year. He had 1 receiving, 1 rushing touchdown. Now here came the monster hit of the night, from what I could see watching the game. This hit was really cool. And the hit of the night, this is the hit of the night. This is the one. This was pretty great, pretty cool. Boom! Just like that. That guy made a monster hit. And Winnipeg was just all over Hamilton at this point. The game also featured the kids of 2 former Super Bowl opponents, as that's Luke Tasker, Steve Tasker's son. He played for the Buffalo Bills. And Jeffcoat, Jim Jeffcoat's son. He was also playing. He had a sack and a fumble recovery. And those 2, their fathers, played for the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys in 2 Super Bowls. Unfortunately for the Tasker family, it was the same result. So that was kind of cool to see. A Jeffcoat and a Tasker. You can see the Grey Cup there. It's a pretty cool trophy. Definitely much better looking than the Super Bowl trophy. So Andrew Harris, he won both the Most Valuable Player of the game and the Most Valuable Canadian. And he deserved it because he rushed over for 100 yards. And there's the Grey Cup. Like I said, that's one of the better trophies out there in the world. Yeah, you can't do that with a Super Bowl. Fill it up with champagne and drink out of it. Sticking with CBC News here. So about 10,000 fans lined the streets at the Forks to await the long-awaited CFL championship team. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers hadn't won since 1990. I still have the Jogo sports cards from that era. So that was pretty cool. The Blue Bombers had finally won. Hamilton, they hadn't won since 1999, so there was a drought for both teams. But it had been a long time for the Blue Bombers to get there. So definitely have a lot of respect for the CFL football players. These guys don't get paid a lot. The salary cap for a CFL team is at $5.2 million. The minimum average salary for a CFL player is 54,000 Canadian dollars, which is more than what most people make in a year, but still peanuts compared to what an NFL player makes. I think the NFL minimum salary cap is at 450,000 US dollars. So there's a big disparage in the price wage. And this is because Canada has a smaller population. Well, we got 35 million stretched out, while the US has 300 million. And also the NFL has a lot of fans in Canada, Mexico, and around the world. Now the CFL is trying to make inroads internationally as well too. They've instituted every team has to have 1 global player. Winnipeg, they had a guy from Germany who made that big hit on special teams. The CFL opened up a tryout camp in Europe and one in Mexico, trying to attract players, which is really good policy, try and grow the game, because the CFL is a harder game to play than the NFL game. 3-down football is much harder than 4-down football. There's no question about that. It's a totally different game. So you got to love the fans out in Winnipeg. There's one thing about the CFL, the Western teams, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Edmonton, Calgary, they really love their football out there. BC doesn't really support the game too much. I think the BC Lions have been second last in attendance. And on the east side, Ottawa, they support their team pretty well. So does Hamilton. Montreal, their attendance has been going down ever since their glory years. They haven't made the playoffs in 3 years, and that kind of affects how people view the team. And Montreal sitting at, I think, third last in attendance. So they're sitting at 6th spot as far as attendance goes. Toronto has the worst attendance record. Toronto just does not support the Argos, despite the fact the Argos have won more Grey Cups. The Leafs have won Stanley Cups, or the Blue Jays have won the World Series, or the Raptors have won the big game. The Argos are a more consistent winner than the other 3 major franchises. So that's another thing. So Toronto doesn't support 2 things. They don't support their CFL team, and they don't support the Poppy. Way to go, Toronto. Toronto sucks. So the CFL is actually a really good league. It just doesn't get the credit it deserves. And it doesn't get a lot of the support it deserves. Though they are going to put a team out on the East Coast, in Halifax, which is good. I was in Halifax when they made the announcement that they're going to have a team. They're going to bid for one. And hopefully that works out. Get 10 teams in the league. That's the other problem with the CFL. There's just not enough places you can actually viably put a team. But hey, if Saskatchewan can support a football team, I'm sure other places can support a football team. But that's just how it is. But anyway, hats off to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Glad to see they won the championship. They had to play 3 road games to get there. All the best to them. Like I said, that's a hell of a cup. Anyway, let me know if anyone watched the game and what they thought of the game, and leave your comments below. Till next time, Roman Days, I'm out of here.